Hey everybody, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is the Tower and Judgment. Mars and it's Mars and Pluto together. Seeing Leo. The word domino is coming through, or something that sounds like that. Seeing Scorpio on the bottom of the deck. Okay. Tower and Judgment can be a time where a lot is surfacing, a lot is coming to light. There can be also a side of things that's a bit unexpected at times, or it can be just things popping up and sort of happening very quickly. It can almost feel like out of nowhere just because of how quickly things can happen. That doesn't mean that it's really out of nowhere, but it's kind of like, I see the Tower, especially the Tower in this deck, as something that has been sort of bubbling up to the surface, and the Tower is that moment where it sort of explodes out, where it can't really be contained anymore. So it's a very strong force of energy that at the point when it starts breaking the surface, even if one tried to push it down, you almost can't. And that's how I see the Tower in this deck. And Judgment feels like at a time when something may be erupting, Judgment is trying your best to look at the thing that is erupting as it's happening, even though it can feel difficult for some reason to do that. I'm saying it's probably difficult because we have the Strength card here. So when I see strength, it's usually at a time when we need to be brave, we need to be courageous, we need to do what we know that we're being guided to do, and it's all essentially a matter of willingness, but we can have a hard time being in that space sometimes, or it feels like a challenge to sort of be up for what's going on. Like, this can be a difficult energy to be working with here. What I'm also seeing though is Four of Wands and Six of Wands, which Four of Wands is going to be actually things, so stuff starts off feeling very disruptive and intense because Mars is going to be something happening. Pluto can be a very transformative energy that we have, and Strength is sort of being willing to ride a very intense wave here that this energy brings through. But then we're looking at Four of Wands, which shows actually a time of celebration, a time of harmony, a time where it's like, yes, this happened, or like things are actually good, or now things stabilize. It doesn't start like that, but it ends in a stabilization. And then we have Six of Wands, which is even seen as a very... Six of Wands is seen as a card of victory. It's a card of success. It's another card of celebration as well. So it feels like the Four of Wands happens and is sort of like breaking out through to the other side of something, to the land that we've been trying to get to. And then Six of Wands is like the actual more official celebration of things, of this is what's going on, and now there can actually be joy about it. And Strength is showing that if you are willing to go through this process, that's exactly what's going to happen. So it starts off in a very rocky and eruptive type of way. You move through into Judgment, which is not looking away from what it is that's happening. Strength is being willing to sort of participate in this process, even though it can be something that feels challenging to look at. Judgment can also be a time when things get brought up that, like, you really need to look at things for what they are, but it can be difficult to do that, you know? Sometimes there can be some harsh realities that come up. Strength is going to be a willingness to sort of like play that game of Pluto, of what's really going on here. And it feels kind of like the opposite of a Neptunian energy, where Neptune can kind of be like, I don't want to look at that, so I'm going to close my eyes and envision like a fairy tale land. With Tower and with Judgment, it's kind of like this thing that you can't really look away from if you want to be part of this process. It's something that you have to muster through, essentially, but then there's success that comes at the end of this. Because Four of Wands and Six of Wands is going to feel like a big deal, where it feels like a relief. Like things are so good, but it starts in a place of so much. It can feel like mayhem, it can feel like chaos with the Tower and Judgment. And it can be something too where it's like, will it ever be okay? Like, will things level out? I'm seeing 8 of Cups and 10 of Swords. Tower and Judgment are also feelings that erupt within us that make you want to do something, and it can be sort of this something that comes to the surface that you have been feeling that you can't really repress anymore. And Judgment is like, why is this happening? Where is this coming from? What's going on? What is it trying to tell me? And even though it can be some difficult things to really look at, because the Tower is feeling like I've been pushing that down, now this is coming up and I can't really ignore it anymore. It's here. Taking the look at it, it feels like that's the difficult part, to actually look at what this is that's coming up and presenting itself, rather than being like, let me run away from it or let me just avoid this process. This is like, okay, the thing is happening. I'm going to be present to the thing, to try to be aware of what's going on and to understand it, to not shy away from it. And it's showing that if you stick with this, things then end up forming, aligning themselves in a way that becomes stable then. Instability with the Tower, but then in a willingness to participate, with a willingness to participate in this, things then turn into the 4 of Wands, which is things are stable now. Everything is all right. This is how I wanted things to be. And 6 of Wands is going to be even like more happiness on top of that, of like, yes, this feels real. It feels like this 4 of Wands, we're not just faking that this works. This actually works. It'll be like that type of thing. 8 of Cups and 10 of Swords is about stepping away from what's not working and being honest with yourself too. Having the Tower can be like, I can't fake it anymore. This isn't working for me. Or there are feelings coming up that I can't ignore anymore, and I'm seeing the reality, and what the reality is telling me is that this is not something that I feel I'm getting what I need from it. It's not meeting my needs, or what I thought I was going to find here, I'm actually not, and I'm recognizing that at this point. Or this was something that was working for me, it's not working anymore. It's going to be some type of realization, and 8 of Cups can be a migration that happens because of that. To look at that, oh, this thing is happening right now. I'm realizing this isn't what I want, and this isn't going to be what I want. Judgment is looking at that, those feelings that are coming up, and 10 of Swords feels like the choice that one is going to make that's associated with this. But it can come out a bit spontaneously the way that this happens. Having Tower and having 10 of Swords can be a very abrupt closing out, or a very abrupt ending, when it's like, okay, we're in the middle of it, or like in the middle of watching the TV show, and then all of a sudden the TV turns off. And we didn't think the episode was going to end there. You know, it can be something that's kind of startling, kind of abrupt, but it feels like everything sort of emerges at once, like comes up at once. Something needs to be done like fairly quickly about it, is what this seems like. I'm getting like a rapid energy with these energies. And then 10 of Swords is like, 8 of Cups feels like the realization of what had maybe been underlying. 10 of Swords feels like then the execution of, oh, this isn't working, why would I keep doing it? And then closing that door. And Strength feels like being along sort of for the ride of this. You know, too, like usually we can have a tendency to sort of prolong a process. This feels like as soon as I become aware of it, I'm investigating this, and then I'm doing what needs to be done immediately. And it feels like cutting right to the thing that needs to be done, rather than taking the long route to get there. This feels like I'm understanding this, it's coming up, I'm really looking at it, I'm being honest with myself about it, and then I'm doing what needs to be done here. And then there's the moving forward. In order for you to find what you're looking for, you can feel like an ending is going to have to be part of that, which also means that a beginning is going to be part of it as well. The understanding of things and then the moving forward. Okay. Feeling at peace and feeling like things stabilize at that point. And I'm also seeing 10 of Cups here. I feel like everything happens very, 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 very quickly. Tower and 8 of Cups. The moment happens and there's like, oh, like no reason for me to be here anymore, like that. Judgment and 10 of Swords is going to be the breaking down and even reflecting on the closing out of this chapter and doing the closing out if that needs to be done, even though it can feel like the difficult thing to do. Strength and Page of Cups feels like I know what my intuition is telling me. 6 of Wands is feeling like, and now I'm going to do that thing. Strength and Page of Cups is also you trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting your instinct here. And even though it may be asking you to do something that can feel difficult, you can feel like unless I do this, I'm not going to be able to continue with my journey. I'm going to be stuck here until I do this. This is how I move forward with things. Page of Cups, 6 of Wands feels like a victory in and of itself because of you trusting yourself and listening to yourself and being real with yourself about this. Like, okay, I'm hearing the call that I'm getting, like I'm getting the message here. 6 of Wands is like I'm actually listening to myself and doing what I feel like needs to be done at this point. But this is feeling like Tower and 10 of Swords can be a very abrupt way that things come to an end. So it can be like, okay, I'm getting the feeling, I'm going to do it now. Or like, this is popping up for me and I'm just going to do it immediately like that. Like this sort of thing. 8 of Cups and Judgment feels like asking yourself whether or not a situation is going to work for you. Like the way that something is as it is. So this isn't like, maybe tomorrow it'll be what I want it to be. Or like yesterday it was. It's like right now in this moment and how it will potentially stay being. What is this situation for you? Like, what is your judgment call about that? Does this have what you need? Does it not have what you need? 6 of Swords feels like that moment of, okay, I've spent enough time in judgment over the 8 of Cups. I spent enough time analyzing this, reflecting on this, breaking this down. 6 of Swords feels like that moment when I can move forward then after I fully understood this. Judgment, it's absolutely necessary for you to be in a space of complete honesty with yourself. Otherwise, judgment will not be effective. It is Pluto. You have to be like severely honest in that space of judgment. So it can allow for something to close out as it naturally needs to. So things can continue. 6 of Swords is going to be when things continue, when we move forward. Then 6 of Swords in the middle of this, 6 of Swords and Strength is going to be the mark of when things then get easier, when things start falling into place. Tower and Judgment over here is sort of when things start coming apart and you can't really push it back down, so it starts transitioning and changing form. Strength and 6 of Swords is when things start shifting back into place. 4 of Wands and Page of Cups is going to feel like, wow, now I'm really in harmony and in congruence with what's been going on with me emotionally, intuitively, instinctively. And then 6 of Wands and 10 of Cups is like, wow, I really have created the opportunity now for me to be in a space where I can feel a genuine sense of peace and harmony within my life. It has to start with the Tower, which is like whatever's not working, those things all being brought to light, even if it can be like, wow, I can't hide this anymore. And there's a part of that that can be intimidating. There's a part of that can be scary for me. But what it means is that if you're willing to sort of ride the ride in the aspect of this, and where the trail is going within the energy, it means that it delivers you to the Six of Wands and the Ten of Cups, which means like, wow, I can actually feel good about things because this feels like it's genuinely the way that things are supposed to be. Because it genuinely feels aligned. I'm not just pretending that it is and sort of sweeping things under the rug. This is me being out in the open, like all of the lights turned on here, and it feels good at the same time. So it feels very, very genuine. And so it's going to feel real to you. Like this is real peace that I'm feeling, or this is real hope that I'm feeling, or this is real congruence that I'm feeling, like that type of thing. Whereas before, even though with Tower and Eight of Cups, like right before that could have been like, fake it till you make it, you know, it could have been one of those times when you were like, I'm trying to push these pieces together and hope that they work, and there's frustration and there's aggravation. So it's like it didn't actually feel harmonious, even though it may have looked like that from the outside looking in. Being on the inside of it, as you would know, it's like that thing wasn't really working, like those pieces weren't going together. So even though there can be this feeling of this is really difficult because if I want to force this, it's not really possible when the Tower and Judgment come out. There's no way for me to hide it. I can't put the lid back on it. It's out now and it's not going to go back in. But what it leads you to, what it delivers you to, is actually you being able to feel what you've been trying to feel this whole time, what you've been trying to be connected with this whole time. So it's like the road to deliverance in that way. So you can actually connect with your Ten of Cups, which feels like that wasn't happening before. So it brings you out into this space where that can actually happen. So it's actually like the thing that you wanted, but it's like over here, that wasn't how you were going to get there. So then this thing happened. That was kind of like, nope, you're being forced to move forward now and to do the things that need to be done. Over here, it's like, wow, I can actualize this now in a way that it wasn't possible because that was not the right setting to be doing that within. So that's what I'm seeing here. Feels like so much personal work, so much shadow work moving through this. Mars and Pluto and strength can be this thing being triggered within you that's kind of like, okay, it's coming out now, you know, like that type of thing where it feels like this is in uncontained energy, and it may feel like a wrecking ball immediately, but it ends up being more restorative than anything within your life. It allows balance to be restored, and it allows things like on the inside to be recalibrated and restored for you too. And it feels like it may force you out of some old ways that were actually not very effective. But it could have been things that you were doing out of habit, out of just being comfortable even at times. This is really going to give you the opportunity to connect differently now. I do feel like there's getting a little bit outside of your comfort zone here. All right, with that being said, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.